The Fargo Five. I'm Conrad Fargo. Fargo is full of lots of interesting people. Have you ever wanted to change your life? Well, people here can probably show you how by listening to their stories. We've got one such interesting person, Brandon Anderson, but not Brandon Anderson no more. Brandon Anderson Chase just got married this weekend. Hello, Brandon.
How's it going?
So you decided to combine your last names, which I've always thought is an interesting practice. So are you guys going to have kids, or do you have?
We have 4.
Okay, and so have they also adopted the combined name?
So 2 of them are Andersons and 2 of them are Chases.
I see.
So we decided that the parents should have combined last names.
Okay, and then if you have, are you planning on maybe having number 5 somewhere in there?
No,
Or that's too many?
I am snipped and she is, yeah.
That's the old Bill Cosby joke. We have 5 because we do not want 6. Is this the joke? But with the combined names like that, if they had the combined name and then they get married, what are they supposed to do? Then you got 4 names, and then you got your great grandkids are gonna have 16 names. I'm like, it's just gonna get like exponentially troublesome. Maybe just combine them, make a new name. But I see when you got a mixed family like that, that's definitely interesting. When you met your now wife, were you already a business owner?
No, I met her, I was 9 years old.
Oh my. Okay. So you've known each other for a long time.
We have known each other most of our lives. She has been my best friend forever. So,
and it must have been a long winding road to where, because you guys are bringing from both sides of the family together here.
We are, ups, downs, it just took us a long ways to get here, but we're here and I couldn't be happier.
Well, congratulations to you on that. I think a lot of people want to change their lives. They want to become business owners. When did you decide to be your own? Is this your first business? On Track Garage Door LLC?
No, so my dad was a business owner, owned his own remodeling company when I was a kid.
So remodeling homes?
Remodeling homes.
And I think you had mentioned your mother is also a realtor.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
So, it got me always wanting to own my own company.
Yeah.
And I owned a remodeling company for a little bit myself. And
like you had your own separate one?
Yes.
Kind of modeled after your father's company?
Yeah, yep.
Exactly. Were you helping him as he was doing it as you were growing up?
Yes,
is that what
I started when I was very young.
Yeah.
I framed my first wall at 6 years old. We were building a room for me in our basement, and it just kind of spawned a lifelong love of construction. So
that's amazing. I think most people don't realize both how challenging but also how accessible remodeling is. I think you either think it's really, really easy and anybody can do it, or, oh, this is impossible. I know before I did my own first remodel, if we shall say, like, what was behind the walls? I don't know, magic and dust fairy. But when you know what you're doing, it kind of gives you X-ray vision, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, there's not much I can't do. So,
and so when you had your remodeling company, were you working for others, or were you doing more like flipping jobs, or what was that?
Flipping jobs, yeah.
Yeah. So you were how did you find the homes that you were working on?
Just word of mouth. People would call me up, ask me to do something, and I'd come and do it.
Okay, so you were working for others. It wasn't like you were flipping a house that you would buy. And
no,
invest.
I had never bought a house of my own to flip. But,
oh, okay. And so
my dad did when we were younger. That's kind of what he did, but I never did for myself. So.
Yeah, okay. So when you say remodeling, you're talking like for others.
Yes.
Like you hang a shingle out and then people. That's a pretty broad term to say remodeling. So was it everything from?
I've done full guts. Yeah, those take a while.
You got to when it's not yours, you got to kind of subcontract all the plumbing and electrical out.
Yes.
So we're talking mostly a lot of finish work, stuff like that.
Drywall, finish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cabinetry, flooring.
I love that kind of work. I like doing it. I don't know if I could ever do it for another person. How do you handle, I mean, what's it? So people call you and they say, come do this work. Do you ever run into a situation where they're dissatisfied, or they're like, oh, this isn't what I wanted or what I was expecting, and like I don't think I could take that kind of reject. I take my work when I build stuff. I'm very personal about it.
I have not had that because I like to do things the way it would be best for if it was in my house.
Yeah.
And I take extreme pride in my work, no matter what it is. So,
as do I, but maybe it's just a matter of confidence. I don't know.
I have supreme confidence in my skills, though. So
Yeah. Well, and I never thought that I would be a person who did anything with their hands. Somehow I grew up thinking, well, there's people who work with their hands and people who work with their minds, and they're just kind of different things. When I ended up having to build my own house, I learned firsthand. There's a joke there somewhere, but I learned firsthand just how mentally intensive it is to solve the problems, especially of remodeling.
It is.
It's a lot different. I think a lot of people who went the remodeling route put down their hammers and went to do new construction, because that's, number one, it's booming out here in the metro, and number two, man, it sure is a lot easier to go into an empty space and throw stuff up than it is to fix 50, 100-year-old mistakes.
100%. I mean, new construction definitely is easier than retrofitting, remodeling, but there's something to be said about taking something that looks like crap and making it look pristine.
Yeah.
So.
What I like most is the problem solving. So my current home, I've got a bi-level, and it had in it before in the bathroom when you walk in, it's so hard to explain without pictures and everything, but basically I had to, when I completely redid it and reshaped everything, we picked up all this space. Like, it was this narrow, really uncomfortable, super long shower before, but when I worked at it and thought about it, like, all of a sudden you're able to open it up. We've got a space for a laundry basket. We've got several cabinets. Like, there's all this space that was just wasted before. Like, there was this closet you would open up, and it was like 4 feet deep, with shelves that were like 4 feet deep, and it's like, what is even going on here?
I hate wasted space. Yeah. I can do a lot with wasted space. So
yeah. And so you're out there, you're doing remodel jobs. And where did the idea of On Track Garage Door LLC? I mean, where? So
I've had some issues in my life with, addictions, and
sure.
It kind of made me lose my remodeling company. It set me back a long ways. So
yeah.
I started working for others once I got sober, and got into the garage door business, working for one of the other companies here in town. And as I was working with the guy who was training me, I was just like, I should be doing this on my own. I really could probably do this. And
it had already been in your blood, because you had already. So you just. It's in your nature to be self-employed. Now, we were talking about that. You're not necessarily born, but you moved to Fargo when you were 2.
Yes.
I mean, we are an independent-minded people out here in the metro, and I think a lot of us don't like working for others. We like to work for ourselves. And so I think a lot of people, their story involves addiction and recovery. A lot of people that come in here, that's a big part of their story.
Yeah.
So when you were working for the other person, you said to yourself, I don't want to work for somebody. I want to work for myself. I'm going to go hang out my shingle like I had done before.
Yep.
Was it? So I really want to go back. So you had watched Dad do the remodeling work for all those years. When did you first hang out your shingle on your own, and what was that like with the remodeling work? Or what was your first? Did you have a job first, and then you said, I'm going to hang out shingle, or what? How did you begin entrepreneurship? Where did that start?
I worked for my dad as a young kid and teenager, and then I started working for other companies, trying to learn all the different facets of construction. I learned how to do concrete. I learned how to do framing, roofing, siding.
Yeah. Wow.
And then once I kind of felt like I knew how to do the majority of things, I kind of just said, all right, well, I think I can go out on my own now.
Yeah. So you were working for others, and what was your first job under your own name like? What was that? Where did it come from? Do you remember?
Yeah. A friend of mine bought a house, and he needed his roof done as part of his purchase agreement or whatever it was. And so that just kind of spawned everything. And
how did you set your pricing? You just beat whoever his other quote was, or?
I knew how much I needed, and I just gave him a price, and pricing is something that takes time to master.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So
you started with the roofing job, and then from there, what was prospecting like? Did you ever spend time prospecting, or do the jobs just keep falling in your lap, as it often can in that line of work?
Well, for a while there, they were just falling in my lap.
What year was that?
That was 2009.
Oh, okay.
2010. Something
right around the crash then.
Yeah,
right around the crash, and yet stuff was still going on up in Fargo, North Dakota.
Yeah, Fargo never slows down.
We never have huge booms either. I mean, we did have some pretty aggressive times, and of course, COVID times were crazy.
Yes.
But yeah, we keep pretty steady, just a steady pace. Fargo's an interesting town. So after you had your troubles with addiction and you wanted to start your new company, when was that? What year was it that you decided, I'm just going to start my own garage door company? And what was that?
Well, I filed all the paperwork in May of 2022.
Okay, recently.
Yep. And still was working for the other company until I kind of figured things out a little more. And by October, I just had enough, and I put in my 2-week notice. I, felt the urge to just jump, and $500 in my bank account. I didn't have a door dealer. I didn't have anybody to sell the doors to. I didn't have nothing except for hopes, dreams, and prayers, and I jumped.
Those are the best kinds of businesses, I feel like, where you can just kind of jump. So, because what was your first job like in the garage door company then? Because you had no supplies at the time, so you're probably ordering them as needed, right?
As needed, yes. And it was a lot of repairs and just ordering parts as I went. And then I got my first door sale. I started selling. I got my door dealer December of 2022, and that kind of kick-started it all. And now I've got 2 different door dealers. I've got a whole shop full of supplies. I've got 2 trucks now, and
I just started building a garage myself a couple of years ago. My one stall collapsed. I got the insurance payout, so I had somebody go build me the 3 stall, and I figured I'd do the siding in the garage door myself. I'm pretty handy, but I've never done garage doors before. Those tension bars are no joke.
No.
Do you still have? Do you still have all 10 fingers? Or okay, good for you. Good for you. Are you worried about the future of your fingers?
I mean, to a point. Yeah. The torsion system is the springs are extremely dangerous. Yeah. I try to recommend that people don't touch them unless they are properly trained. Yeah. Well, I did a pretty good job with the doors. Now what I'm having trouble with is I can't do siding anything above 8 feet. I get all wobbly when I get back, because I can do the siding on ground level, but it goes up to a pitch. I got the 9-foot walls. So you and I might have to talk after the show. Right.
Although I know you remodelers and workers, you always charge way more if I have you finish something than if I just had you start it from the beginning. So maybe I'll have to ask for some grace.
Sometimes.
All right. Well, coming up, our next section is going to be Fargo Fun, because not only is business going well, you guys are going to be at the Home and Garden Show in just a couple of weeks.
We're
going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Fargo Fun. So don't go nowhere. In fact, that music will come. There it is.